The acceleration of a particle moving along the t-axis is given by a of t equals 6t minus 4 at t seconds. The particle starts 8 nanometers to the right of the origin and begins moving to the left at a rate of 4 nanometers per second. So again, we're given the acceleration of this particle. How do we get to velocity and position? We've already talked about. We integrate, but we're going to ask a different type of question this time in regards to this particle motion. So the question we're going to ask is how far in total. I want to triple underline this because total distance is a totally different question than its position, and it's definitely different than displacement. Does the particle travel during the first 3 seconds? So how far in total does it travel? So before I even start to solve this out, let's look at the simulation again. We can see that the particle is traveling a certain distance and actually goes from 8 to 0, right? But then it starts to move back, so you have to add that distance it goes back. And it goes back, I think we said 5 nanometers. So we should get, if it moved 8 to the left and 5 to the right, we should get 13 total, right? But we need to verify that. And so you can see that this is a different type of question than just its position. Okay, you can say that at time t equals 3, it's 5 nanometers to the right of the origin, right? You can say at time t equals 3 that it's 3 nanometers to the left of when it started, right? But if it went 8 nanometers to the left and 5 to the right, it's traveled a total of 13 nanometers. We can confirm that algebraically. So just remember, total distance is a different type of question than displacement and position. So first of all, we want to write out what we're given, the acceleration equation. Next, we're going to convert words to variables. So convert what is given verbally to algebraic expressions for step 2. It says the particle starts 8 nanometers to the right of the origin, so S of 0 equals 8. It says it begins moving to the left at a rate of 4 nanometers per second, so V of 0 equals negative 4. Its initial velocity. We've already solved for this position equation. But what we haven't figured out is the integral of the speed, right? So that's what we're going to figure out. Convert the verbally stated question into an algebraic expression. So when you're figuring out total distance traveled, it's actually the integral of speed. And I will even write this out. Remember, the absolute value of velocity is speed. But if you integrate speed, you're going to get the total distance traveled. Remember that. Okay, because speed doesn't care if it's positive or negative, and basically total distance doesn't either. It doesn't subtract anything that you move to the left. It counts all of that. So during the first 3 seconds, so what we're going to do is we're going to find the definite integral from 0 to 3 of the speed function, and that will give us the total distance traveled from 0 to 3. Now we've done a lesson already on integrating absolute values or taking the antiderivative, so I recommend you go back and review that. You can search for that in the list of the videos I have on there. Anyways, step 4 is to map out the relationship between position, velocity, and acceleration. We keep talking about this, but for this particular example, you can see it's really important. You must be able to understand that for total distance traveled, it's just going to be the integral of speed, the integral of the absolute value of velocity. So if you were given position, you would take the derivative position to find velocity, you would take the absolute value of that, and then you reintegrate it. And you can see why that formula is going to be different than just position equation. In this instance, we are given acceleration. So we integrate acceleration to find velocity, we take the absolute value of that, and then we integrate that to find total distance. Okay, so next step is to solve the problem using either initial value derivative procedures. Now from parts A through E, you've already seen that we've figured out the velocity equation by taking the antiderivative of acceleration and using the initial velocity to figure out the equation for velocity. And we got this, 3t squared minus 4t minus 4. So that is our velocity equation. But we want to integrate the absolute value of that because the absolute value of velocity is speed. And we want to integrate it from 0 to 3. That will give us the total distance traveled from 0 to 3. We've already figured out the zeros of velocity. It crosses the axis at 0 and 2. I'm sorry, it doesn't cross at 0, but we need 0 as an endpoint, so we need that as one of our t values. But it does cross at 2, and then that's it, right? Now we figured out those values by setting it equal to 0, the velocity equation. So we can see from this graph that it's negative from 0 to 2, and the velocity is positive after 2. Okay, so what does that mean in terms of integrating? Well, basically, the absolute value of velocity would be taking this piece of the graph and flipping it up, which is how you get the speed function. So this is our absolute value equation. But if we can't look at the graph, then we don't know that from the equation, right? We have no clue where this graph is positive or negative unless we do a sign chart. So when we go back and see our sign chart, we'll see that it's negative from 0 to 2, the velocity, and positive thereafter. Because speed is always positive, we take this part that's below the t-axis and we flip it up and make it positive, so it looks like this weird shape right here. So here is our speed function. Basically what that means is in order to integrate, we got to come up with two different equations. One for this little part that we flipped up, and one for this part that stayed the same. The part that stayed the same right here, we can just integrate 3t squared minus 4t minus 4 from t to 3, or from 2 to 3, because we're finding the total distance of 3. For this piece, we take this equation and we make it negative, because when you make this negative, it flips it up and makes it go like this, which is what we did right there. So we will integrating the negative part of this from 0 to 2. We will be integrating the same version of this from 2 to 3, which will give us the total distance. And furthermore, if you want to really see what this looks like, we're basically finding the area under the curve of the speed function from 0 to 3. And that gives us the total distance traveled from 0 to 3. Okay, so again, to confirm, velocity is negative from 0 to 2 and positive from 2 to infinity. So that first part that's negative from 0 to 2 for this interval, we will take the velocity equation and make it negative, and we will ensure that it's we're taking something that's always negative and making it negative. We're multiplying by -1, so we ensure it's always positive, right? And then the second part is positive, so we just leave it the same, and that's going to be from 2 to 3, because we are finding the total distance traveled from 2 to 3. We don't have to go from 2 to infinity. And again, just so you know, that's in that question right there for 3 seconds. So all we need to do is find these two integrals. So we're going to distribute the negative here, and it will become this, and then the second one's going to stay the same. Use the reverse power rule. This is going to be negative t cubed for the first one, and then it'd be 4t squared over 2, which is just 2t squared, and then enter over that is 4t. And then basically the same thing over here, except different signs. This one we're going to plug in 2, and then 0 is just going to be 0, right? So we're basically just concerned with when we plug in 2. And then over here we're going to plug in 3, right? And then we're going to plug in 2. Subtract when you plug in 2. So here's the first, this right here is just the first part of this integral. We get 3 cubed minus, I'm sorry, that's just the first part of plugging in, right? And then this right here, and let me color code this so you don't get confused. Okay, this is the first part. And then this down here is the second part of plugging in our limits of integration. Do some number crunching. Just crunch all these numbers up, and you're going to get 13, which again is the total area under the curve of the speed function, what we'll look at in just a second. So verbally, the particle travels 13 nanometers during its first 3 seconds of travel, which we already saw when we looked at the simulation, right? If we go back and look, it moves 8 nanometers to the left, and then it's going to end up moving 5 to the right. 8 plus 5 is 13. That's going to give us its total distance traveled from 0 to 3. So I do want to show you the graph one more time, and we'll be done with this. Look at the graph of if we look at the integral of speed, we're finding the area under this curve, we get 13 back. And I think I do actually have a graph of the total distance traveled, which is this piecewise function right here, which we just figured out. And if you plug in 3, you will see that it travels. 13 nanometers. That's it for total distance traveled of a particle given its acceleration. If you have any other questions about this, let me know.